Let's explore the operator framework available through OpenShift. If you go to the administrator portal, you'll find the OperatorHub, which has a number of operators available either from Red Hat, from partners, or from the community. Operators provide different capability levels. At basic install, it does what it says on the tin, right? It installs the product. This is similar to a Helm chart. Seamless upgrades would be the next level, where the operator is also able to upgrade the product, while full lifecycle takes into account things like high availability, disaster recovery, backup, full upgrades, as well as some additional capabilities, while Deep Insights and Autopilot provide additional integration such as logging, monitoring, event management, as well as self-tuning and scaling capabilities. So let's take a look at some of the operators which are available here. I'm going to first focus on available operators from Red Hat. A couple of operators which should catch our attention are the Advanced Cluster Management for Kubernetes. This operator lets you manage multiple Kubernetes clusters as well as multiple OpenShift clusters, as well as connect to cloud providers to provision infrastructure. So you can create connections to Azure or AWS or Google Cloud and use OpenShift to provision additional OpenShift clusters. Additional operators you want to take a look at would be features such as the cluster migration, application migration operator, which facilitates migrations from version 3.x. A couple of operators like the JBoss operator that manages applications, operators like the OpenShift Container Storage, which gives you software-defined storage capabilities, or OpenShift Pipelines, which gives you access to Tekton. And this is again a managed service for Tekton pipelines. You can define your pipelines as code, place them in your version control repository, and that way you can decouple your pipelines from your infrastructure. So if you move between multiple Kubernetes clusters, you're not actually dependent on any specific implementation or any specific configuration. You're taking your pipelines along with your code as part of your repository. There's also Knative. This is the OpenShift serverless operator, so you can deploy functions as code, functions as service. You have additional operators like code-ready workspaces, which gives you access to an integrated development environment, so you can use Visual Studio Code or Eclipse Che as part of OpenShift. It's fully integrated and you can do your development there. This can save a lot of time when troubleshooting development environments. For example, if, every developer has their own ID and their own configuration, it can actually get quite troublesome, and you're spending a lot of time upgrading and installing your workspace every time. Some other interesting things to take a look at here would be the OpenShift Yager for tracing, monitoring, and observability of microservices. It's part of the OpenShift service mesh, so you have integration with Istio, Kiali, and Yager as part of the OpenShift service mesh, as well as a single sign-on operator to manage SSO. So if you take a look at some of the other operators which are provided by partners, I'm going to take a look at some of the certified operators here. Let's take a look at some of the ones we have available with Deep Insights or Autopilot, for example, which are very advanced capabilities. So databases, you have Couchbase or MongoDB, which are again available using Deep Insights or Autopilot, or Portworx, which is a cloud-native storage solution for replicating your storage either synchronously or asynchronously. So you can use this for persistence. Redis again is higher tier operator with Deep Insights here, and if you take a look at some of the other capabilities, you'll find if you select full lifecycle, let's take a look at some of the wider scope of operators. You'll find very typical, very common open source projects available and managed through the operator framework. And in effect, this gives you your own private cloud services catalog, where you're automating all of the work that a human would perform using Ansible or Go as part of the operator framework, but you're getting all of this for free. So the capabilities usually are already automated for you. You can choose to create your operators, of course, but in most cases you'll find that either an operator already exists or you'll be able to leverage the existing ecosystem quite well. So let's take a look at how these operators look like when they're installed. So here I have a number of installed operators. And the first one to highlight would be the advanced cluster management for Kubernetes, which gives me the multi-cluster hub, which is provisioned on my system. Here, where I'm able to access these multiple clusters. And of course, I do have a route that exposes the URL for this. So if I go to network, if I go to routes, multi-cloud console, I click this, I'm taken to the Red Hat Advanced Cluster Management feature, where I can have end-to-end visibility on all of my clusters. I can create new clusters on cloud providers, or I can import existing clusters. Here I just have one cluster, which is the cluster that I'm using on IBM Cloud, but you can add clusters across Azure and AWS and your own on-premise environments, Google Cloud, as part of this application. And you can also use it to deploy applications, govern risk, or automate your infrastructure. So let me go back where we started here in the operators framework, and you can see I have a bunch of other operators installed on the system, such as the IBM Cloud Operator, and you have similar operators from other cloud providers, which gives me service binding. So if I'm using a service on IBM Cloud and I want to integrate with a service such as a managed database, then I can do so through a cloud operator. I can also choose to manage my own databases or my own services. Here I have an example of MongoDB, which lets me create instances which are, again, managed instances on my OpenShift cluster. This decouples me from the infrastructure. So wherever I have OpenShift or Kubernetes, I have the same capabilities. I'm able to migrate my applications easily, and I have full access and full control over the security, over the storage, the configuration, the life cycle, the upgrade of my infrastructure.